There's a cash price and there's a finance price at every dealership. Whether they tell you about it up front or not, it exists. And the thing about them for a small property owner is it's very affordable compared to an actual tractor. But it's doing the job of a lot of machines for you. I'm always surprised when I see someone spend this amount of money on a brand I'm not familiar with. So I'm curious what made you do that. Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and I'm out here today at the Tulsa Farm Show. I'm going to review some equipment, show you guys what it's like to be at this show. But I think I'm going to start off, before I even go inside, I'm going to review the parking out here, because I just parked way out there for a show that's way down there, and we start off here. No big deal, right? I mean, lines are suggestions. We're very definitely gonna occupy however many spaces we feel like. There's the back door. So the front door of the truck is in one parking spot and the back door is in another. What do you guys think? Is that how you roll? This is the line that marks where the back of the parking spots are, right at the door panel. All right, so Landon is going to tell us what a Texas fence fixer is and why you need one.
Okay, this was designed by my grandfather to take all the slack out of your barbed wire fence. You take your tool, choke up on it nice and high, just like this. Get your wire in the jaws of the tool, nice and flat. I use my index fingers. Okay, then you step around the side, that wire going the way you want it to go, which is up. Grab your chain, use your body weight. Now all my slack's right there in the middle. Then I take my spare wire right here on top, wrap it around 2 or 3 times, go across the face of my tool, and go back on top 2 or 3 more times. And right here in the middle, take my fencing pliers, and I'm gonna weave that wire back into that fence. I didn't cut nothing, I didn't splice it. I just added to it, and I'm simply taking all the slack out at the same time as I weave that wire back into that fence. 30 seconds later, take your tool off. You're ready to go.
Well done, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what does a setup like this cost, and where would somebody get one if they want it?
You can get one off of TexasFenceFixer.com. We sell them for $101 on our retail site, and we ship anywhere in the world, Australia, Brazil, wherever. We're just a little homegrown. Everything's 100% manufactured in-house. My grandfather started this 43 years ago, like I said, and we're just here keeping the legacy going.
That is fantastic. Well, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you guys know I've been having an issue with heating my shop, and I've tried an electric heater and I've tried a wood stove, and those are working with different levels of success. But now we're looking at a product here at the farm show called High Flow. And I'm going to let this guy tell you about High Flow and how it would or would not work in my shop. So I have a 1,500 square foot shop, 12-foot ceilings, it's insulated, and my heat and air unit went out.
Okay.
Now, do you guys offer a product that would work in that shop? And I actually want to keep it heated not just when I'm out there, but at least a minimum temperature of 60 degrees 24/7.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple solutions that would help you. Everything that we have to offer here, as far as the diesel-fired radiant heaters, they're portable, but they burn diesel at almost 100% efficiency. So you can run them in your shop all day long. They're not going to smell. They're not going to burn your eyes. They're just a clean, quiet, safe, efficient way to heat your shop.
So let me tell you what I think of when I see this. I think, man, that's going to heat so fast. It's going to get it up to temperature quicker than anything. But it's going to cost a lot to run it because it burns a lot of diesel.
Well, you know, I've got like 5 different sizes. The reason people buy them is because they're clean and they're quiet and they're safe and they are very efficient. Like, they don't burn as much fuel as you might think. For instance, my largest unit only burns like 1 gallon an hour, and my smallest unit burns like less than a half a gallon per hour.
No, so, for being honest, that thing's about to melt my face. Let's come around here. So this unit right here, is that about the size of unit I'd be looking for a shop like that?
You know, for a shop like yours, I would recommend one more this size. The one that we were showing first, this is my most popular unit. It's called the Val 6L, and it's got 2 BTU settings. It's 118,000 BTU on the high. You can turn it down to 100,000 on low. And it's got a 15-gallon fuel tank that'll last you between 16 and 20 hours. And all of the heaters, I'm proud to show you, are thermostat controlled. So we build this custom thermostat kit, and it just magnetizes to the unit, and you just set the temperature at whatever you like. And once it reaches that, it'll just cycle on and off, kind of like your house. But for a shop space your size, I'd recommend the Val 6M. It's a 62,500 BTU on the high, or you can turn it down to 55,500 BTU on the low. And with the 6.5 gallon tank, it'll run 13 to 15 hours.
Continuous?
Continuous.
Run? And in reality, in my shop, that's only going to run 50% or less of the time.
Correct. Yeah.
And kick on and off.
Really, with a thermostat, it doesn't matter really as much what size. A bigger unit is going to heat the shop faster and then cycle off, right?
So what are we looking at in a price tag for these units? Yeah,
so from the smallest Daystar is about $1,650, and then it runs $2,150 for the M. And then we've got the next size there is the S, the Val 6S for $2,650, and then the L is our most popular at $3,150, and the big boy over here, the Val 6X, is $3,900.
So what are people doing with a unit like that?
Just bigger shops, bigger workspaces. They work great outdoors, like on a farm application. If you had a tractor that's thawed up or a truck and you're wanting to like thaw it out, keep it from gelling, it's really helpful there. Also, like the cattle guys, if you have a cow that's got a calf out in the middle of the field in the wintertime, they can run off an inverter off your pickup truck. They pull such little electricity, you can literally run them off your power inverter on your pickup truck.
Okay, so the unit I would need, you said, was around $2,100?
$2,150. And part of our show special is we're including that digital thermostat for free at the show.
Awesome. And you guys are a local business?
We are. My grandfather started the business back in '77 right in Pittsburgh, Kansas. And we sell and service in our local area. We consider that about a 150-mile radius from Pittsburgh. But today we're at the Tulsa Farm Show, and we've been coming here since before I was born.
All right. Any other products you want to show me while we're here?
I would like to bring attention to our high-flow pressure washing equipment. You know, we're a private label commercial pressure washing equipment distributor. And if you got tractors, trucks, equipment, any machinery that you really want to clean up, we've got hot water, cold water, we've got all the soaps and degreasers. And what kind of separates us more so than anything is our ability to service the equipment. We've got mobile service technicians that go on the road every day. We deliver and service everything in our territory. So
this is a pressure washer, but it uses the heated water, which makes a big
Correct.
difference in how effective it is.
Yes, you can definitely cut grease and grime and films and bugs off the front of your truck. With high pressure hot water and soap, you can clean about anything.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time to show me your products.
My pleasure.
Hi, my name is Wally. I'm with Bad OTP. That's the company that me and my son started. His name is Ben. We've come up with something we think is pretty novel. It's a rack that you can put in your truck, but it's not permanent. It's magnetic. It fits in your truck. We put it in. We give you the magnets, 300-pound fishing magnets. We give you the flat bar. We give you JB Weld that you can put it in your truck. So if you've got a Ford and it's got an aluminum bed, you can still use the rack. We want to make sure that if you get it, you could get it and put it in the same day. You don't have to worry about doing anything. But it's also adjustable. So you can take it if you've got a truck bed that's shorter, you can adjust it for that. If it's longer, you can adjust for that. It goes from about 4 feet to 6 feet 8 inches. And then when you put it in, you can also adjust it from your sidewall. It'll go about 12 inches. So we've seen people use them during work. We've seen people use them for play. We kind of like to say it's a tool that will work or play as hard as you do. You can put gas cans on it. You can put groceries behind it. There are just a myriad of things that you can do with it. And when you're not using it, you can take it out of the truck, and then you have the full bed of your truck, and you can use it for the reason you bought a truck, so that you could move plants, or you could get a refrigerator, or whatever you needed to do. So check us out at badotp.com. We're selling them right now at the Tulsa Farm Show for $4.99, or after the first of the year, they'll be $5.99. So make sure you get one. It's a great Christmas present. We have plenty in stock, and we'd love to include you to the Bad OTP family.
All right, awesome product, and I love a small business, so thanks for showing it to us.
You bet. Thanks for letting us show it.
All right, I'm stopping here to look at a crazy skid steer from a brand I'm not familiar with. Pretty sharp looking machine. I've got Trent from the Blue Collar Contractors business and YouTube channel here. He's going to tell us a little bit about this machine. I'm always surprised when I see someone spend this amount of money on a brand I'm not familiar with. So I'm curious what made you do that. So what drew you to this brand, and why did you buy this machine?
Yeah, so it's actually pronounced Develon if you want to get technical. So I've got a good salesman from these that deals with these at Central Power, and he's been on me to try them out. Everybody's heard of Doosan heavy equipment. So Hyundai Infracore bought the Doosan line from Doosan, bought out that heavy equipment, and then they ended up changing the name to Develon. So this is the first skid steer they've ever made, compact track loader, whatever you want to call it. This is 115.3 horsepower. To my knowledge, biggest compact track loader on the market right now. Same engine that they've got in their DD100 bulldozer. It's been tested. It's been through the paces. So
the fact that you're not familiar with, most people aren't familiar with this brand name, doesn't mean they're new to equipment. They've been making equipment forever.
Correct. I believe since late 1800s, Doosan has been making equipment. So they sold that heavy line to Hyundai. The name is new. This paint is new as well. I will say that this was a custom paint job that I had one of my guys do. We rebranded. We put the brand back on, put our logo on here, and
so what is Blue Collar Contractors?
So we do, as we see here, we do earthwork, demolition, site work, pads, ponds, any sort of excavation and demolition.
And you guys show that stuff on YouTube?
Yes, we don't do as good of a job on YouTube as we do on TikTok, some other platforms. We're starting to do more on there. As you know, Brock, it's a lot of time and dedication to it. So.
Oh yeah, making videos is time consuming. So do you know what the hydraulic flow is on this machine, or what it can lift?
I did before you asked. The ROC on this one with the counterweights is going to be right around 4,000 pounds. That'd be at 35% tipping load. It's right around 4,000 with the counter.
That's a high number.
Yes, it is a brute. We've only probably put 5 or 6 hours on it. Sent it to paint, sent it to tint, brought it here. So I haven't had a lot of chance to put it through the paces, but getting into piles and working it the little bit I have, it's amazed me. It doesn't stop.
And is this a high flow machine?
Yes, this one is high flow. We were looking at the numbers on the 43 gallon a minute, I believe, on the high flow. It was right there with the 770 Bobcat as far as the standard versus the high flow.
High flow is a vague term. Mine was 31, and they called it high flow.
Gotcha.
43 is, you can run a serious mulcher on 43.
Yeah. And we don't have a lot of experience running mulchers, but I believe this one would run about any of them and do fine with it. You're not going to feel it on the front carrying it around, I can say that. So
I'm going to see if they've got a booth here, maybe check out some of their other equipment. So in the meantime, check out BC Contractors on YouTube and TikTok. Here's the Rhino TS12. Serious mower right there. And I don't think you need that big of a tractor to run this. It's so huge, just to stand next to, but I think my little tractor could run it for sure. Going to the same shows every year, I see a lot of the same products, but I never get tired of seeing these guys standing in their drawers. It's a really impressive display. I've covered them before, but these swing out drawers have, what is it, a 250 pound rating or 400 pound rating on them? the ultimate workbench. I've shown those same drawer systems in those badass workbenches, and I try not to curse in my videos, but that's just the name of the company, so it is what it is. But very cool. It's a high-end product, but definitely well built. I always struggle at these shows because I come and look at the same tractors over and over again, but I don't know if I should talk about them every year. I've shown all this equipment before. And Bobcat tractors I've had out at the house, they're very similar to a Coyote tractor. I actually have one of these commercial mowers from Bobcat, which is actually manufactured in the US by Bobcat. I've never got a chance to run one of their mini skids though. I'd like to get that opportunity. MT1000. Seems like it's a little bit longer than my mini skid, which with these, lift capacity is all about the counterweight and how long the machine is. We've got our auxiliary hydraulics here, the 2 control system, got the T86. That is a serious mulcher right there. I'm kind of obsessed with excavators right now, thinking about how bad I need a mini excavator, and people were giving me a hard time. Why am I buying a machine when I just sold my other machines? Well, I'm not buying one, I'm wanting one. I don't know how many of you can relate to that. Like, I want one of these and I don't even know what the heck it is, but I want one. So I'm doing a lot of looking and a lot of talking, and I'm asking a lot of questions from these dealers to try to learn about the machines. But I'm not sitting here on the verge of buying a mini excavator. My goal is to get out of debt and buy equipment when I can afford to pay cash for it. And we are not there. But this is the size of machine I'd want. And Kubota has a great reputation for their construction equipment. I think this guy right here could set those stones that I need set in my pond. So I'm going to have to rent a machine to do it. I haven't been able to talk any of these manufacturers into letting me borrow one for a week so that I can get it done. I'm going to have to rent one. Here we've got a U17, little bitty guy. I'd say this right here is about the size I was running yesterday. And it feels like, compared to what I was in that Saney yesterday, this deck on this is really low to the ground for the size of machine it is. Next to that, we've got Massey Ferguson and Spartan mowers. Let's see what we've got here. Coyote RX 7340 cab tractor, utility tractor, coming in at $56,000. You guys notice the difference in price for the same machine? Don't ever let that confuse you. There's a cash price and there's a finance price at every dealership. Whether they tell you about it up front or not, it exists. Yesterday I was over at Full Circle Ozarks running his mini excavator, and he told me he was interested in these Coyote skid steers. Asked me if I knew much about them. I said, not really. When you sit in it, it feels like a Kubota, but that's just because they have the same style of lap bar and the same style of roll down overhead door. There's actually no cooperation between them. It's a different machine, but those features are pretty similar. Cash price $66, finance price $72. Yeah, I said that Bobcat seemed longer. It's dramatically longer. This is my machine right here, same one I've got, and that track on that Bobcat sticks out here. It's at least a foot, if not 2 feet longer. And the question is that a good thing? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. That length gives you counterbalance, which gives you lift capacity and stability. But the whole point of it is to fit it in a small space. So do you want it smaller or do you want it bigger? Here are the BCS 2-wheel tractors. A lot of people aren't familiar with these, but I went up to this actual dealership and did a video on them a while back. Very versatile machine, as you can see here. You can run a wide variety of attachments. And what you basically have is an engine and a drive system with a PTO shaft, and the handlebars on it can swivel forward or backward so that you can basically run a front attachment or a rear attachment, either one, off of this, just with one engine. So it's very versatile. You can see it's pulling this trailer here. When I was at this property, we ran it with a log splitter and a sickle bar mower. Very cool units. And the thing about them, for a small property owner, is it's very affordable compared to an actual tractor. But it's doing the job of a lot of machines for you. Okay, earlier I showed you the Develon brand of skid steer, and here is their mini excavator. They said with a thumb and a quick attach, this machine, which is about the same size I've been looking at, said this machine would run $42,000. And once again, it's not a new brand or a brand you've never heard of. As you come in here, you see Doosan on some of it. So they've just changed their branding, but it's an established equipment manufacturer. This is the booth for the tractor yard dealership. See, they got the TYMs. The owner, Jake's, right over there. We're going to steal him in a minute. They also carry LS. They carry Bad Boy. You guys know I have a partnership with them where they provided me with equipment to use. And I've really been thinking, I need to get this machine out and compare it to my 574. You know, it's a similar size machine, but just a little bit different. Man, it's mean looking. Something about the open stations, it just makes the tires seem bigger, makes it feel more aggressive. And then that Bad Boy styling. I mean, styling doesn't, make your brush cutter run better, but it's sharp looking. See what we got here. Bad Boy 5055 HC, 55 horsepower hydrostatic tractor. At the show, $32,500. Now they're not even allowed to advertise it that cheap, I'm pretty sure, but that's a good price on a 55 horsepower machine. You could do a heck of a lot of whatever with it, I'm telling you. My buddy Lucas just got a 4820 from TYM. That's a former Branson model. And he's just over the moon about that tractor. If you want to see anything on it, you can check that out at Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead. He had a Kubota BX, and he thought he liked Kubota until he got that one. Now, the big difference isn't the brand. It's just having a big machine that can handle the size of logs he wants. But one thing with TYM and Bad Boy that you're guaranteed to get is lift capacity. Here we've got a 5045 in the cab model. And I love the cab. And I chose the cab. But, man, you just feel so much more connected on an open station. I kind of miss it. Like, doesn't that just look like a tougher machine than this one? Alright, finally wrangled this guy over here. So this is a Bad Boy 5045CH. This is equivalent, roughly, to a TYM 4820.
4820, yeah.
So first impression to me, it feels like about the same size tractor, although the cab I feel is a little smaller than the 574.
It is, that's true. I mean, the space in the cab, I don't know the exact measurement difference, but you can feel it sitting in this one compared to the 574. It's a little bit smaller, but I would say it's still not cramped,
No, not at all. The 574 is just bigger, roomier, and a little bit, sets a little higher than all the competitive tractors in that same class, from any brand, really.
Yeah.
So what would a unit like this cost?
So at the show here, we've got them down at $36,500. Now that's a pretty temporary price, something we could honor for, maybe the end of the year. But normally these things sticker for right around 40. So it'd be a good time to pick one up if you can. But if not, we try to be as aggressive as we can year round too.
Well, while we're talking prices, you guys got any sales or specials going on at the tractor yard right now?
We have more savings type tractors right now than we've had in a long time. We've got some aged inventory coming from other dealers, some LS tractors that are at really, really good prices, anywhere from a 25 horse up to 65 horse. So we're talking about saving several thousand. So it's a good time to call and get some details on those, because we probably won't see savings like that until next year late like this. So
All right, you carry 3 tractor brands. I've covered this size tractor a lot. You guys, you got anything here if someone's looking for something a little smaller?
yeah, so there's a LS 242 cab hydro sitting over here.
Let's go take a look at that guy.
This is probably one of the nicest tractors that's ever sat on our lot.
This is the most recent redesign from LS. They changed some colors on it. They changed the shape of the grill. It seems like they gave it a lot more lift capacity, didn't they?
Yeah, so the front end of this thing, they've got rated at 2,500 pounds lift capacity. So that is the strongest front end loader lift in this size on the market.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, and that's a significantly smaller tractor. It's it's in between the 2 tractors I've got on my place in size. This is like a John Deere 3 Series in frame size. And we've got this guy priced, today's price, show price, is $33,400. But anyway, $34,000. Nice machine. This one, I've showed this before in a short, but it's got kind of a unique feature here with a throttle on your joystick for those times when you want to push into the pile. And if you're like me and you use auto throttle, it's nice to be able to push into that pile and then rev up so you've got that extra power for lifting.
Yeah, this thing is about as nice and as loaded as a tractor is going to come in this size. I mean, it's got everywhere from just, like these.
It's a 3-speed transmission, right?
It's a 3 range, so low, medium, and high. And this one's a hydrostatic model, and it does come in a shuttle shift option too.
How much price difference does it make, do you know, to drop this tractor from a hydrostat to a shuttle shift?
Typically $1,000-$1,200. Kind of off the cuff, that'll get you close. Yeah.
What percentage of your compact tractor buyers, when they're given the option, buy that shuttle shift to save money over a hydrostat?
Very low. I would say easily 90% of our sales are hydrostatic now. So
off the top of your head, what are your top selling models? What do people buy the most?
So this is a really popular one for LS, this 242, both in the open station and in the cab. 226, the new 226 from LS, we don't have one here because we've sold out of them. That's a really popular model. Of course, the 357, 352s. Now in TYM, the 2515H by far and away is a huge one.
I've heard. Go ahead. What else were you going to say on TYM?
574CH has been massive. This year we've sold more 574CHs than 2515s, which is unreal. And then we sell a lot of those 5835s too.
I've heard that TYM's changing their model numbers. Have you seen that start to roll out?
I have, and I've got a glimpse of kind of how that whole thing's going to lay out. And in my opinion, once that whole process is complete, it's going to make a lot more sense than it does now. Of course, we've got 2 manufacturers joining together, so it's a little messy.
I really like when you can walk right up to a tractor and tell the horsepower and the frame size from the model number, and that 2515 cab tractor is now going to be the 3025. Looks like a pretty great option to me.
Yeah.
Have you guys? Is that available right now?
That thing, I'm anticipating within the next couple months start seeing those on some dealers' lots. I know the pricing is like we're days away from having the pricing for that one and the 5835 redesign, which is the 4058 now.
Yeah, that 5835, have they ever put a cab on it?
They did. So with this redesign, that 4058 now has a cab option, and that's been an option that guys have been asking for a couple of years.
5835 is kind of an oddity in the lineup that it's, to me, I would call this a utility tractor. It's got a super tight turning radius for a tractor that's got tires significantly bigger than mine, but it's not available in a hydrostat, so I'd call it a utility tractor. One of the downfalls to it is it hasn't had a cab option.
Yeah, so this one's it kind of reminds me of like that New Holland Workmaster 55 that you tested. So
Yeah.
this one's be pretty comparable to that.
Well, but the price isn't comparable. Those are $50,000 machines, and this is 32.
Right. Yeah, that's where these guys win, and they win big, because you're getting a much more simple machine for a much better price.
Somebody needs to come up here and snatch this Mossy Oak Gamekeeper edition from LS 357. See what they're asking for this. We got a MT357H. I've got several videos running this exact tractor. This is the machine that Adam from Hometown Acres has, but his is the cab. 57 horsepower. 2024 price $36,000, show price $32,000. $354 a month. All right, well, I'm going to move along, but you guys can always check out the tractoryard.com. They ship tractors nationwide. All right, now tell me this isn't the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen in your life. What a beast of a machine. 1951 John Deere Model R. John Deere's first diesel tractor, 2-cylinder club certified, 416 cubic inch displacement. That is a serious pulling machine right there. That is a sharp looking Ford. Love those paint colors. I mean, I like the blue that you always see, but this is sharp. There it is before it was restored. 1954 Model 60. I just love the old tractors. Love them. Every time I see an old one, I want to buy it. And I think, what would I do with it? Park it next to the old one I got.